Faygoluvers.net with Max and Iggor Cavalera, formerly of Sepultura, currently Soulfly and Cavalera Conspiracy.
Now, what I want to ask is, how influential was your Brazilian tribal history when coming up with the album title?
Pretty influential, especially the drum side. It's like we love percussion, and Brazil is real heavy, influenced by African, Indian. Yeah, we kind of capture a lot of that on the Roots album.
Yeah, it's really cool. You guys are able to take the metal aspect and combine it into more of a going back to your tribal roots.
Yeah, I think that the cool thing about it is that it was already there. It's not that we needed to do. It was just about finding the right way of presenting all this tribal stuff in the way that we like to play our music, because it could be done in the past a million times just by portraying those tribal beats, but to make that into like what we play, that was the special part of it, we could feel comfortable playing that stuff and not feel like just someone doing a cover of something.
Exactly. Now, when you guys found out it was the 20th anniversary of the album, what first popped in your head? That's a lot of time to go by,
It's actually 21 years now.
21.
I think it was like last week. It was like the anniversary date.
Yeah.
If you want to get specifics.
Oh yes, 21 years old now.
Yeah. It's just cool, man. It's went fast, a lot of stuff happening in those 20 years, when we did Roots, there was no internet,
It was all word of mouth.
It was a different world, man,
Yeah.
like people were buying records, it was a different world, but we're still here, and I think it's cool to celebrate a record that is so powerful, and it meant so much for so much people, and we see it in the audience, how powerful this record is, with them singing the lyrics every night. It's awesome. It's a great feeling,
It's a very influential record too. Now, when you first met Ross Robinson, how'd you guys connect with Ross Robinson, on a personal level when you guys were recording Roots for the first time?
I think it was more like Max. He was really into the Fear Factory demo, some stuff like that.
The demo was really great. We get along with all the producers. That's the cool thing about making record with different producers. You always get somebody new, and you either learn something from it, or you get something new out of it. So we had already done records with Scott Burns, and we did Chaos AD with Andy Wallace, which was a lesson in master. He's like the master, and we wanted to try something different. I like the rawness of the Ross recordings.
Oh yeah, it's very raw, definitely with the early Korn.
It's like if you grab the rawness, and then our idea was to have the rawness of the Ross recording, but then give it to somebody else to mix, like Andy Wallace, which is a master, and then he hasn't polished the diamond, so the diamond's all dirty when we give it to Andy. Andy cleans it all up, and the thing just shines. That's really what happened to Roots, because
oh wow,
the raw
it was
stuff.
a combination.
Yeah, because if we put it all the way it sounds raw, how you record, people wouldn't like it. I think people would not get it. It would be too dirty and too raw.
Well,
so it was necessary to clean it up and make it sound the way Andy made it sound.
Wow. Now, when you recorded "Look Away," you had Mike Patton and John Hibbs of Korn. Now, to me, that's like the heaviest, rawest song on the album. It's just really slow and doomy sounding. Can we get into the lyrical content and what you were trying to express when you first wrote that?
Well, we started with a beat and a riff. I think Igor made a loop in the drums.
Yeah, with
as I
Lethal.
remember. Yeah.
The guy who was like a producer, also DJ at the time. He was in the House of Pain.
Yeah.
And then I remember I came up to him and we had a few ideas how to start this track, and he was like, man, just make like a simple drum beat and we loop it up and see where it goes. And that was like the raw beginning of Look Away. It's one of the few songs that I remember we didn't have much before. Like in the studio we kind of like put together, Max had some ideas for some riffs, but like the raw beginning, it was me and Lethal going like, oh yeah, and then he looped it and we're like, yeah, this is cool. And then of course later on Max had the idea of bringing some guests, and then Mike Patton being like a really close personal friend. I called him up and he was like, yeah, I'll come down. And then I think Ross also suggested
Right.
Jonathan Davis, and it was cool. I think it's a great combination. Lyric wise, I cannot really comment because they wrote also the lyric on the spot.
Yeah, you guys are playing off of each other's.
Yeah, well, my part doesn't have lyrics on that song. I sang with what I call it English that don't exist. It's just like words. And we used to do that a lot when I was like making new songs. I'll do that.
It's
Just
almost
so
like
the
a
band,
percussion.
but the band can vibe off what the vocals. This might be what the vocals gonna sound like. I'll change later, but I decided to look away, keep the scratch vocals like it was.
I like that though. It just brought out some really
Yeah.
intense emotions.
There's somebody told me I should do a whole record of those, maybe, But so it was really experimental. Mike had some really great, like Middle East Indian chant in the beginning that gave me goosebumps when he made
Oh
it.
yeah,
Like,
those little screeches and stuff are
it was so cool.
astounding. Yeah.
And we ended up doing 2 songs with Mike. We did another song called Mine that he actually sings some more words on it, and
It was a B-side.
it was a B-side, yeah, the Mine. And it was about divorce. It's a really weird theme, really strange. Mike always like weird shit, And I don't know John's the lyrics. I think it's like it's really wild shit. It's like it's kind of the song that doesn't really fit anything on Roots. Like doesn't really almost don't belong to Roots kind of
It's
because
kind of like a B-side a little
it's
bit.
like it's so off the wall. But I think that's what's cool about it. Like it's so weird, so wild that we decided to put it on the record. I think that together with Dictator Shit, which are very political, very hardcore, doesn't really nothing to do with the Brazilian roots. Is what makes Roots not be records that are just about one thing.
Yeah, like a theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not.
Concept.
It's not a
yeah.
concept. It breaks it down. So
it's
it's
more
not.
about progressing
could've done.
stylistically.
We could have done the concept album with Roots. It would have been cool too, but we decided not to do it, and because of that, we have songs that doesn't really have nothing to do with Roots, like Look Away and Dictator Shit. But it was cool. We always like collaboration. We had Jello Biafra on Chaos. That for me was the coolest thing.
Oh yeah, that's a big icon for you.
Yeah,
Definitely
from the
influenced
punk world,
thrash
because
elements.
we love the punk world. Me and Igor always like the whole punk scene. Big on us.
And he's one of our heroes.
So it was.
So like getting to work with him, it was really cool. Because I remember like us listening to the Dead Kennedys, like growing up, like really, really small. I would never in my wild dreams think that we would one day collaborate with Jello. So it's really cool.
And it was weird because we didn't really ask him to sing with us. It was like just write the lyrics. He
And then he sent a tape.
He could
how-
easily sing with us.
Yeah,
Now,
it's
for
great.
you, what's challenging for you to change from more of a thrash element to more of an experimental sound?
I don't know, like it was for me. I look at it as a very smooth evolution from where I started playing drums and until all the way to this day, because I don't really look to do certain things just for the sake of doing it. It has to be part of what we're writing, and that's how I choose the beats and how to do certain things. So I look in that sense, it's like it was very natural to come from more from like thrash and metal, and then trying to incorporate more tribal beats and things that which I learned growing up in Brazil. But at the same time, again, I think it had to be something that made sense with what Max was writing on his riffs. It couldn't be just me going crazy and playing something out there. It had to make sense with the band itself.
Right. Now, can we talk about the track? I might pronounce it wrong, so excuse me. Rata Mahhata.
Mahhata.
You almost have it, man.
Okay.
I've always said Rata Mahhata. I don't know. And he told me it's something like rats in Manhattan. Like he was in Manhattan and saw a bunch of rats.
But it's also a percussive word.
Yeah, slip of the tongue, Rata Mahhata, Rata Mahhata, Rata Mahhata. It just sounds cool. And so Carlinhos was very heavily involved on this track, and we flew him from Brazil to be part of the album and do a lot of percussion. We did 12 hours of percussion in the canyon to use like 1 minute, and that's how much detail Roots has that people don't know. 12 hours for 1 minute,
Wow.
It's insanity,
It's like
right?
a movie, right?
Yeah.
And they shoot the movie for a year, and then
They use 1
it's
minute.
like a few seconds of something.
That's how detailed Roots really is when you put under the microscope, And so Rata Mahhata was born of a jam, and I was really into a lot of I always loved Brazilian folklore, and there's stories about Zumbi. Zumbi is a slave that rebel against the white people, and Lampião is kind of a Robin Hood who's still
From the north.
from the north of Brazil, who got decapitated when he was caught. It's
Oh wow,
a crazy story,
that's something I need to research myself.
And then Zé do Caixão is a friend of ours. He's a filmmaker, Coffin Joe. He's
Like
a
a
really
B-movie, yeah.
B-movie cult legend of horror movies, and so we put the 3 names in the song. It's really,
Like the really heavy Brazilian characters. Like
yeah,
if you speak about, especially like in the folklore kind of thing, those 3 have a very heavy.
yeah, real
Yeah,
people,
yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
there's also folklore of Brazil that are not real people, like Saci Pererê. It's like this black kid with the foot going that way,
Okay.
only 1 leg.
Yeah, but those are more like, like things that they used to say, and it became like,
To kids.
yeah, people don't know how real it is, if it's a fantasy. But these people that we chose out of folklore,
Are
they
real
actually existed, and they became somehow like big figures in Brazilian history.
Oh, that's. I'm gonna have to research all that.
Yeah.
It's got me interested, man.
It's really cool. The especially Lampião. It's a very interesting history. Yes, it's very cool. They made a movie called Baile Perfumado. I don't know how hard it is to get in America, but it was a really cool movie. It was kind of indie,
Might be on
independent.
YouTube, possibly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
some people-
independent production, but really cool. So those are like really like crazy ideas that Roots had. That I think is really cool. Especially the Rata Mahhata, the single came out, and a friend of ours designed the cover, and it on the design has the 3 figures, Zé do Caixão, Zumbi, and Lampião all together. It looks really cool.
I'm gonna have to look all that.
It's,
up.
it's really wild. It's really wild. So yeah, it was a fun project, man. A lot of excitement in the air for that one.
Yeah, it's a very iconic song, I must say. Now, for you guys, what are your favorite songs from the album to play live? Like one you always look forward to play live, no matter what day it is.
Well, it changes, I have to say, because for me right now, I'm really into playing Itzari, which is like an adaptation of what we did in the jungle with the Indians, and trying to do this live. It was really cool, and also it has a little bit for me, a bit of an improvisation. I don't do the same thing every night. And then there's Ambush, which is a track that me and Max at one point we decided to do some tribal drumming live, because in the album there's a break where we go into this tribal jam. So to do this live, me and Max we start doing it, and then we start calling a few different drummers to participate on this, and then now we've been doing every night with the drummer from Full of Hell and the drummer from Immolation. They come on stage and they add to this. So those 2 songs for me, like at the show, it's where I really get to do some stuff that I'm not really thinking. I'm more feeling, which it has a little improvised to it. So for me, it makes it more fun. Of course, I enjoy playing like the whole show because there's so much energy on those tracks. But if I have to pick, I'll go for those 2.
For me, it's my workout part of the show. It's straight hit and speed back to back. Is when I jump and go crazy, and it's so much fun. And every night, I know I'm gonna work out on that part. It's like it's
Get
coming.
ready.
Get ready. It's coming. I'm gonna sweat like a motherfucker on this one, and then I like the new ending we do on Look Away. I think is really cool. We do like a dub, almost like a dub jam type thing. I think that's really cool.
A again, there's a little bit of improvisation every night. So
every night.
Nothing wrong with that.
So those are kind of my favorite parts of the show.
Now, I know Soulfly played at the Gathering of the Juggalos in 2012. How was that experience?
Insane. Crazy, yeah.
If you were invited, would you come back to that?
Yeah. Fuck yeah, it's great.
Nice,
I
nice.
love to see Igor to see this.
I've never seen it.
You have a
so-
kick. You have a kick.
Yeah.
The coolest thing is when we gotta accept it, because the beginning they were throwing shit at us, you know. And, you know, it's like I got hit with a Faygo right in my stomach, you know, Faygo can, you know. And as the show progressed, the throwing of shit stopped. And by the end, they all loved it, man. And it was like great, you know.
They started
And then,
chanting family back at you?
Yeah, they did, man. They did. And I even saw a flag that had the Hatcher Man with Soulfly together. So that's no more proof than that, you know. Like they really like you, you know. But it can go horribly wrong if they don't like you. You get massacred.
They get very territorial sometimes.
You can get massacred. So I was glad that we got it, you know, that we were accepted, you know. Because we just went, you know, we're just a metal band, you know, playing this big ass festival with a lot of hip hop acts, and it's a challenge, you know. It was a challenge, but
You definitely overcame the challenge. They were chanting family back at you. Much
yeah.
respect to that.
So it was
brother.
cool, man. Yeah, it was awesome.
ICP's at the Insane Clown Posse who do the Gathering, you know, it's their festival. Right now, they're in a situation where the FBI is labeling their fan base as a gang. What do you guys think about that? I mean, I know it's not your fan base, but I'm just curious.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think that's taking a little too far, you know. I mean, I think, you know, they could have used the same kind of thing for Ozfest or the other festivals, you know, call it a gang, you know. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think FBI is full of shit.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, for me, I look at it's almost like the modern version of the Deadheads, the Grateful Dead, which it can be looked as somehow of a cult, but that's very important because it shows loyalty and things like that. So, I don't know. Again, I agree 100%. I think the FBI has way more stuff to look into than this, you know.
More serious shit.
more
serious,
stuff to worry
yeah.
about what's going on in
Yeah,
the world than,
yeah,
than
yeah.
rowdy music fans.
Exactly. So yeah.
Exactly.
So I think at the end of the day, it's like, come on, man, really.
Yeah, they're doing. Insane Clown Posse is doing a big march in Washington D.C. in September, and they've been contacting a lot of artists. So I just had asked and see what you guys' input on that was. Appreciate the answer.
Awesome.
Now, do you think you'll ever work with Fred Durst ever again? I'm just curious. Of Limp Bizkit.
Well, you never say never. I mean, you know, it's like I like working with as diverse people as possible. You know, like I just did a new vocals on a new Ice-T record for the Body Count, and I thought that was really
that's cool.
You know, it's a big for us. You know, it's like out of that world, one of the most names that we respect. You know, I love the old OG stuff. You know, and
Pretty hard stuff.
Midnight,
lyrically.
Yeah.
Midnight with the Black Sabbath. You know,
I mean, some of the Ice-T records, were
amazing,
so heavy.
amazing, yeah.
Like hip hop and rap at that time. Of course, he's like one of the originators of the whole like hard hip hop, and he was doing nothing else but singing about his reality in LA. So that's for us. It was like coming from Brazil. I remember listening to that and going, "Man, this is amazing."
Going from that to here.
Yeah, and also it was real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can see right away who
All
he
the
is.
riots in the streets going on.
What he is. So for us to later on meet him, you know, like play with Body Count a few times, for me it was cool because it's like it's someone that I respect a lot. You know, like it's a super intelligent guy. He's an icon in the hip hop, and somehow he goes a little into the rock world with a lot of respect. He worked with, you know, Slayer and many other bands. So
Yeah, he's even on a Black Sabbath song.
yeah, see, yeah, you can fuck with Ice-T. He's awesome. So I'm glad that Max did this.
Yeah, and you know, I'm so glad to see that he's also never gave up the thing that's really cool about Body Count is that it was like his kind of like his own dream to be in a metal, because he did the hip hop thing already. He had that done, and it was great, you know. But he also he really loves metal, you know, like Sepultura and Slayer are his favorite bands. You can ask him, you know, he really loves that shit. And I think it was a big challenge being black and jumping into the white
metal scene,
white metal world, you
Yeah.
know. It takes a lot of balls, man. But he did it, man, you know. So I give props to that. It's really,
Yeah, Body Count was
really
amazing.
cool.
I really like Cop Killer. That track is just straight to the bone.
Yeah. So
Now,
just good
what
stuff.
future projects can we expect from Killer Be Killed or the Cavalera conspiracy stuff?
Cavalera, we're working on a new record this year, which is gonna be great. You know, I won't give more details because it's still, you know, a lot of it's just being born right now. I'm working on the riffs and send ideas to Igor, but it's gonna be a beast of an album. It's our fourth album.
Oh, wow.
You know, we're gonna try to make the best one of everything we've done. You know, try to clean slate, you know, on the whole thing and make just an awesome,
Straight
great,
to the point, balls to the walls.
yeah, just in your face, great record. You know.
Hell yeah.
And that's Igor's got some other stuff going on in his world, doing some other projects. We're doing a little bit more of the roots thing, you know, the parts of the world, some festivals and stuff. The record.
Yeah, that's
and
such a
then through
great
later.
lineup with what you guys are doing with Mass Down, Dylan, your escape plan with Sepultura. Like,
Yeah, it works out pretty good, and so we're gonna try to do some more of that. So yeah, we looks like a busy year, but good, you know, a lot of cool stuff.
Any final shout outs you'd like to give before ending this interview?
Well, just thank everybody who's been coming to the shows. It's been really, really important to us, and it's a cool journey. I mean, to see how relevant still, you know, an album like Roots, so after so many years, and also a really cool thing seeing a lot of young kids who never had a chance to see Roots coming in and experience that. So I'm really happy with it.
Oh yeah, I know it's already gold record, so hope it becomes platinum. You guys
All
get
right.
platinum.
Yeah, thanks everybody that came to the show.
Faygoluvers.net with Max Cavalera and Iggor Cavalera. Whoop whoop.
Yeah, all right, brother.